Gosh, I haven't done a panel in a long time. But the fact that I get to do a panel with AI experts who also are amazing people, I've known these folks for a long time, is a really cool experience for me. So I thought we would start off with introductions, and not just introductions on who they are and what they do from a business perspective, but maybe share a little personal things as well, too. You're going to be interacting with them afterwards, so I thought it'd be nice to understand a little bit about them, some of the things that I know that I've got to know about them as we become friends. I'll start with Leslie, down at the end there, Leslie Vetrano from Schneider Electric. So let's see. So besides being a brilliant strategist in the channel, Leslie is also quite an incredible athlete and is very good on camera.
The bar is too high.
Okay. The first time we met at the CMA Say Hi with Catherine, I convinced you to do a video, and you're like, why am I doing a video? And you did an amazing video. Next, we did a podcast, and you did a great job. And then you did something that went very viral at Forrester. Do you want to tell people what we did?
Okay, first of all, hi everybody. I'm so grateful to be here, and I don't know about you, but I was very impressed with the last session, and I also got permission to curse. Is that what you heard? That's what yes, 8% more likely to be effective, or whatever he said. So sit tight. So what Stephen's referring to is I think it says a little bit about my background being an athlete by trade and naturally very competitive, but somehow we started a nice little accountability group between Stephen and Juan and I, trying to just do push-ups every day, like small daily habits. Outside of my corporate job, I'm a certified health coach, so I just have a passion for helping people be their best self. And so we were talking about small steps. He was not at an event that Stephen and I were both at. So we said, let's send a nice little encouraging video to our accountability buddy and do our push-ups. But we were in the trade show floor of Forrester's Summit because we thought that was a great idea in our work clothes. We dropped down to do our push-ups in hopes of encouraging our teammate here. And ya boy...
Wait.
No. Let me deliver this line.
Incredibly competitive.
Mute his mic. In the middle of our, collaborative loving on our teammate, he is talking smack about how effective my push-ups were.
You weren't going all the way down.
Yeah, see, here he goes, technicalities. You can watch the video later and judge that. At which point, and this is my memory, I don't really know if this is how it looked, but this is what I remember. I did my push-up, I looked him in the eyes, mid-push-up, and I did my clap push-up. Where you literally come off the air? Yeah, you can ooh and ah. That is amazing. So I elevated, miraculously off the air, effectively land my clap push-up. I was able to do a second one without falling on my face, at which point I stopped. I said, competition over. He kept going, so he probably did win. But record shows I did one-up him after he talked a little trash, but all to help our friend here. And apparently, to your point earlier, it was highly interesting on LinkedIn, because I do think that was my most liked post ever, no matter what thought leadership or information I give out. Steve and I doing push-ups goes viral and is very successful. So there you go.
So Udi is exactly what you're talking about. It was bold, right? It was different. It was a lot of fun, and that's how we got to be pretty good friends. Next, we have Juan Morales from Klaviyo. Let's see. So Juan, how do I put this? I think you're a visionary. As we go through and we talk about AI today, we talked about what AI could do, the human side of it. The human side coming in and seeing where it could go and what could be successful and how we could do things. I think Juan really has been a visionary on that and has been talking to us at Structured Web for 3 years about, if we're here, how do we get it to there? And how do we use the technology? But as you said, Udi, how do we take the human skills on that and how do we relate that? So on a fun fact, so I think so highly of John because we both believe that Lionel Messi is the greatest soccer player of all time, better than Ronaldo. We both love the Barcelona men's team, and we both love the Spanish women's team, which, by the way, a little round of applause to the Spanish women's team. They're just absolutely phenomenal, right? So we bonded across that. And he is also a member of the 100 push-ups a day beyond what you're doing for a workout. Not 100 push-ups, but whatever you're doing, we both are trying to do 100 push-ups a day on top of that. So welcome to that club as well.
It's a pleasure to be with all of you. My name is Joan Morales, Head of Partner Marketing at Klaviyo. Klaviyo provides a B2C CRM platform that unifies data, analytics, service, so that direct-to-consumer companies can punch above their weight and grow faster. And yes, I love, like Udi, like that, all that opening session really hit home for me because I love the experiment, right? I always love to be able to try new things, do risky moves, and be able to use technology to accomplish more. So working with you guys always, it's great because I can talk about the roadmap, what's coming, and how can I be the first to implement what we co-create together. So always it's a pleasure. And by the way, when I landed, I remember I landed home from that trade show, and I found the video on my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do push-ups now. So I love that.
Oh, see, I love that video because, it was so appealing. So my 13-year-old daughter, all the way to my wife's parents actually watched that. So you're talking about something unique, something that cuts across all boundaries. I thought it was really, really cool stuff, right? Next, Eric Ellers from ServiceNow. So let's see. Let's start with the personal side. So I have a big green egg. Does anybody have a big green egg? We're moved to food. I'm a chef. I love to cook. Somebody's got a big green egg? Does anybody know what a big green egg is? Okay, all right. All right, he's a grill master beyond what I am. You're a Traeger guy, right?
Yeah, smoker.
Okay, so he's a smoker, a Traeger guy. I'm a big green egg guy, right? So something that we both share and love. The other thing that I think we have in common, Eric really is a pioneer as far as AI is concerned, first mover. You sat in our offices 2.5 years ago when we first started talking about generative AI and said, hey, I need to figure out where AI can come in, not to replace humans, but how to make what we do better, right? So maybe you can talk a little bit about that and the fact that you were looking 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, about where we are today.
Yeah, so opposite of what they were doing, we talk a lot about cooking and barbecue. So that's why you have to do all the push-ups around that. And that was a hobby I started in COVID. So that became kind of my big thing. We're learning everything. And I even learned how to cook Japanese Wagyu. So anyone wants to learn how to do that.
On a Traeger.
On a Traeger in a cast.
Fair enough.
So I can talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, ServiceNow, we are an AI platform. So we live in AI every day. And so when we were looking at this journey, I think we were using structured web, but Daniel and I were just talking, and I said, let's come into New York and let's just kind of sit in a room, and we whiteboarded, and we came up with a series of ideas, but we went to what's practical that we could use today, that we could give to our partners and help support them as an overall, but also that sort of fits in with everything that we do. Again, going back to what Steve was saying, we don't want to replace people. Our sort of tagline is we make AI work for people, and the for people part is the most important part. And so when you look at everything that we're doing from a cultural standpoint, it's not about what is AI going to change, but it's also about how we're helping augment with people going forward, and that includes our channel partners.
Okay. Diane Bro. Wow, where do I start? So Diane and I go all the way back to EMC days when we were both living in an MDF world, right? Wow, so we go back a little bit about that. One of the things that I love about Diane that really drew me to her as I started to get to know her as a channel marketer was I felt like she actually liked her partners. I know that sounds a really weird thing to say. There's a partner in here, Leslie. Where are you? Leslie? Okay, say hi. Okay. So does it make a difference to you? Can you tell if your vendors actually care about you and appreciate you as a partner versus just, hey, another route to market?
I'd like to hope so.
But I really appreciated that, Diane, when I met you. I felt like not only did you see it as a route to market, but you were an advocate and really cared about the partners. And I think today, when we talk about the information that we can get from AI, we're going to talk about the insights in a little bit, the way that you look at it is, okay, how can I help the partners? How can I learn from the partners? What knowledge can I get from them? So I really appreciate that. From the fun fact side of things, we share two things we both are very passionate about. One is we both love Macallan 25. So it's a wonderful cocktail that we like to share. It's very good. The other one is we both love Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know.
My
Might be moving there someday.
That's it. That's exactly why. So you want to just
Thank you so much for having me. I do want to admit that I am no longer with Dell. I am ex-Dell, but I'm super happy to be here. And Steve is absolutely right. I'm super passionate about partner marketing and listening to our partners and figuring out how to leverage AI in all the different ways to make their success quicker, faster, better, and more cost-effective. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you. All right, so let's kick it off. Leslie, we're going to start with you. Okay, from both your personal and departmental and really the organizational, why AI? What problems were you trying to solve when you first started looking at incorporating AI into your channel programs, or really even the whole organization?
I asked to not go first, just for the record here. So let me put on the table some humble truths. So maybe this will level the playing field where we all are in the journey. And I'll give a little context on professionally too. But I believe personally, and my own personal use of AI, and where we are from my company Schneider Electric when it comes specifically to the partner journey and the partner program, and we're in safe space here, right? We're in friend zone. I don't believe we are where we need to be. So I actually said to Stephen, I do not want to be on this panel. I do not deserve to be up here. And I actually have just met Eric, but I have to tell you, 2 of the 3 panelists up here, and I'm sure it will be 3 out of the 3 in a minute, I truly view as my AI channel marketing heroes. I look up to these. I know Diane and know Juan and how they've implemented this as early adopters. So I just want to give some recognition to the best in class that you have here, the hunger, the appetite for new. It really is, I'm in awe. But also, I'm very humbled that, imposter syndrome, we at Schneider, I do not believe we're where we need to be, which is one of the reasons why I did want to be here. And also, I hope I offer a perspective of maybe earlier in the journey, if that's where you are yourself or your company. So thank you for letting me set the bar very low with you. But I do give credit, so just to back up, Schneider Electric is a large data, the division that I'm in, I'm within the IT industry side of Schneider Electric in the data center and networking space. And so our channel partners, we run 80% of our business through our IT channel partners, whether that's, our power specialists all the way up to our enterprise data center partners that are doing everything on site, services, solutions, installment, everything. And so very channel centric, but where we have really started, and rightfully so, and I give Schneider a lot of credit, is our demand and our technology for our technology to be able to be AI-ready data centers to support the implementation of what our customers, our end customers are doing with AI. We have to walk the walk. We have to deploy the data centers and the technologies to support the power consumption and the energy consumption that's needed for all of this technology to actually come to life. So everything that you dream up in your use cases is actually hopefully backed by a Schneider Electric data center through our IT partners. So the technology has really thrown me personally into AI because we've had to be at the forefront of that. I also want to recognize that we have a strong commitment to sustainability. So when doing AI, especially in the data center space, it's usually the largest consumer of power in a country. So it's not even at an enterprise level, it's actually at a country regulation. I'm in a global capacity as the channel chief, so we're now starting to track the limitations at the country level where data centers and AI infrastructure can go because they literally cannot provide the grid infrastructure needed. So I want to also acknowledge the sustainability side of it, and doing AI in an efficient and a responsible way is at our DNA. But truthfully, that's where our priorities have been, coming to channel marketing. That's really where our priorities have been, has been really at the center of the technology first, the customer's experience and the partner experience around deploying that technology, and then into sales support and back office support. And now where we're shifting is to the customer experience and the partner experience. So moving from technology to back office efficiencies for our own teams to actually bringing it where it can make such a difference at the partner interface and the partner experience. So in all of that to say, I love your question, Stephen, because you asked the question is, what problem are we trying to solve? And we have found the momentum is starting to pick up. Where I would like us to be is when we are very specific on a use case. We're not generic. We understand the problem. And we're also finding that it is, because our portfolio is so broad and our customers that we can serve is so broad, from the coffee shop down the street that has one location where we're working with partners like Leslie as MSPs, all the way up to, Google and Facebook are our, Microsoft, those are our data center customers. Because of the broad nature of that, it's requiring our AI implementation to be so specific on the use case and very clear the partner journey, the partner pain point, and the end customer. And obviously we can't tinker if we don't have a ROI attached to that. And so the appetite is really picking up where the use case is tight and then adoption is proven, and we have a direct connection to ROI. But I will be humble in saying we are not where we want to be yet, if that brings you any comfort from where you are in your own experience.
Juan, Eric, Diane, are you comfortable where that is? Any quick follow-up on that?
Yeah, I think for us at ServiceNow, we've focused on scale.
Yeah.
The reality is that partner marketing, we have a big marketing org, but partner marketing is a small org. And just at the speed at which ServiceNow moves, we started off maybe really actually servicing, when I started in channel, about 14 partners realistically. We're now servicing about 2,800. And that's across all the different go-to-market motions: hyperscalers, CNI, reseller, ISVs. And so we're really focused on scale because we're not going to get more budget and resources. So how do we support those in a way that doesn't feel like we're just handing them off to AI?
Right.
That was really our big focus.
All right. Juan, anything on that?
For us, always we like to say that we are 1% done. So even when we are doing a lot, the mentality is stay humble. Where we're trying to use AI is, number one, meet the partners where they are. And I always think partners have a lot of options. We are one option. We have to be humble and really meet them where they are. When they bring us an opportunity, it's the moment to shine. So we are building solutions so that if you bring us an opportunity, we give you everything that you need for that particular opportunity without you having to scramble or look for the content. A lead submission is a golden submission. So if we can serve them content in their language, a proposal that they can bring to that customer and accelerate the sales cycle, for example, it's a big opportunity to win. And then we are using also AI to really cross all the barriers inside and the silos that sometimes companies build. Like we have, with your help, guys, we have built a center that really brings all enablement and partner marketing together. Many times those live in separate systems. We brought everything together, and now we can serve, we can allow our partners to search, interact with our AI assistant. Very soon, in the beginning of the new year, we will replace the homepage with a pure AI assistant so the partners can interact with an AI assistant that blends everything together that a partner would want, right? And that it can be served to them at any moment of time.
Yeah. I know there's some other folks out in the audience that had been asking me questions like that over the past couple of days. And the good news is we'll see a little bit more of that at the next session as well, and a lot coming out over the next several weeks. Diane, any comments on that? I mean,
Yeah, I think that it's a great question because I think you have to start with what the problem is, right? Nobody's going to go tackle some amazing idea with AI. It's what do your partners need? What are they looking for? And what are the problems you're facing today? And how can you make them better? How do you meet the partner points within the journey that are going to help you scale, not just as your own company and everything that you're doing to market to and through and with partners, but how you're going to make it also easy for them. So I think it can run the gamut of what are you doing internally? How are you leveraging? Everybody talks about, channel marketing, teams don't have that that much, right? And so the biggest thing I think is to scale internally, take what your marketing teams are doing or your partner program teams are doing and figure out how you're going to leverage AI within that to do better partner segmentation or to deliver high propensity opportunities to your partners because they're looking for you to help with the leads that they're going to go pursue. And then, by the way, once you give them those high propensity accounts to go pursue, give them the AI intelligence behind that, give them the content and the different campaigns and the localization so that they can take it from every point in the journey. Because at the end of the day, it really comes down to time and resources, right? And so AI is simply helping us to make that better. So start with the problem and not the technology, and figure out how to leverage it, because it's not a strategy, and it's just going to help you better scale, do things quicker, more cost effectively, and help your partners, because that's what they're looking for. They want a vendor that's going to help them and make their jobs easier. So it's all about what's in it for them and what you can do for them so that they want to be loyal and stick with you.
So, we talked about the strategy, we talked about solving the problem, and AI is a really big buzzword, but how do we get down to what are we actually doing for the partners in a practical nature? Eric, I know you started working on this a couple of years ago, so just some practical, good places to start for the partners, for your partners in the use of AI.
Yeah, I think what we were really trying to focus on in terms of just, hey, what are you trying to achieve with your campaigns in terms of driving demand, right? That's where we originally started. And so from a practical standpoint, we looked at our entire sort of content portfolio and what could go in there, what could be augmented, because we're building very large scale campaigns and across a lot of different verticals. And so when we looked at kind of how do we start that out, it was really around where are the practical use cases that we can do, but also where are the sort of easy lists within AI? AI is really good at building derivative content. AI is really good about supporting you from a language standpoint, right? So looking at all those practical applications, it was really kind of where we started in terms of, trying to drive that as a whole.
Okay, Joan?
Yeah. What's helping us a lot, for example, that I want to introduce also as well, is how with the use of AI, we get to see way more insights about our partner community way better. Before, we would just rely on search words that people would use whenever they would be searching.
Right.
Now we can go to behind the hoods of the AI system that we have built with you guys, and we can understand what partners are thinking. What are we short? How are they prompting? What are the key questions? It gives us so much more information that it's helping us innovate and understand better what partners hope that we would deliver and where we fall short.
Can I throw a curveball in here, Stephen?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, well, no, I still want Diane to...
Oh, yeah,
no
Diane's
push-ups.
the expert.
No, no,
so
oh,
I'll go
wait.
last with the anecdotal.
No, wait, well, we'll just make sure
I
we'll
want
come back.
Diane to-
Come on, we'll come back around on the insights. Okay. No.
So I guess, again, not nearly where we need to be. So we're more in the placing the bets stage. So we've established the technology. We're working through using AI for our back office and for our team's efficiencies. And so we are now at the point where the hunger and the appetite is now ready for, and you guys understand all the data that has to be cleaned up behind that and the infrastructure in order to be able to move to that journey. So we're definitely not where they are. But I have to give credit to this members of this panel and other dialogues that we have had, is that I just want to make sure in this discussion we don't lose sight of the whole, we're saying partner program, but you cannot lose sight of the entire partner journey, the sales experience, the technology experience, the fulfillment, the quoting process, the deployment, the life cycle management, whatever your technology is or your solutions are, and the role your partners are playing. So where we are finding is that the big bets that we're willing to place in the program are actually, we're getting the investment and the nods to move forward to pilots and use case investment, is when we're kind of stepping away from partner program. We know it's going to benefit partner program, but we're attaching it more to the sales cycle. And I just really want to impart that onto you guys. I learned that actually from another panel that Diane and Juan and Stephen were on with the Channel Marketing Association, is if the end game is to have your enablement and your marketing kind of humming, if you can actually flip it and lead with the conversion or sales cycle that is then codependent of your marketing collateral and your sales enablement being locked step, that is where we as marketers or channel leaders can actually get the end game by starting with a different point, if that makes any sense. So we are looking on investing more heavily, so follow my logic on this, in our deal registration programs. Our deal registration programs can be anywhere for a country. It can be 30% of their channel revenue up to 70%. of their channel revenue. So if I get the business buy-in and the investment from that, which, because obviously it's so significant for the sales journey and the conversion rate, but that's gonna force the enablement, the campaigns, the demand generation, the lead. I get all the other things I really wanted to start with. And I wanna credit I'm not doing that. That's just my strategy by learning from others. And I'm finding that we were getting a little blocked on program improvements and program improvements and program marketing. We were getting blocked. I'm just gonna be really transparent. We're with a room of marketers. I don't wanna offend you, but we were getting a little blocked on that. But when I flipped it and I said, well, let's talk about how we can increase category expansion, overall deal size, speed, and possibly, because it's so digital, I can get more partners engaged in that. So now I have a multiplier effect of sellers. You want to invest in that, it's probably going to pay for itself. So now it's not a matter of if, it's going to be a matter of how we invest in it. So I just want to make sure when we say program and just be careful how we position it, because it sometimes can feel like programmatic and program elements. But if you lead with the conversion and the sales journey and then tie your program elements to it, I am finding that the conversations are speeding up. And to quantify that, we have 26 projects in the pipeline right now for approval, whether that is to be outsourced with various partners like Structured or built by our own AI team. And it is all, have never had 26 projects. And that's, development projects. So I just want to, make sure we step into the larger conversation and don't pigeonhole ourselves when we are trying to move AI through for our partners.
No, and everything you're talking about makes a lot of sense. But the better insights we have, we're going to be more successful. And that sort of wraps me back around and wanted to talk to you about what you saw with the insights from the partners using AI. Because I'll go back to what you said, Leslie. If we don't have partner engagement and we don't have partner enablement, we're going to limit it in the value of the insights because we're not going to be able to scale that. But I remember talking with you, once you saw some of the insights there, you're like, wow, now using AI, and what you could see what the partners were asking for, it really changed how you thought about how you could communicate and how you could do the things that you're talking about, Leslie.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to deploy many surveys going forward. So I would say that I was super excited to see the value of what we were going to get from an AI-powered TCMA or TPMA platform, and we were so jazzed to launch it and enable our internal teams and our partners on it. And trust me, using that AI buzzword, drew people to it. And so all of that was super exciting. And I think one of the biggest value propositions and the saving, amazing value with the AI embedded is that ability for global companies to be able to translate, localize, and edit to all different industries, and just having a tool in which your company does not need to worry about folks utilizing your claims incorrectly, right? So being very accurate, scaling with brand, localization, that's kind of where we were excited about things. And then when we rolled it out, I had no idea that we were going to be able to read partners' minds. Like, we were getting this data, and I'm like following the data, and I'm reading it, and I'm watching the partners get smarter and smarter as they ask their prompts, and they keep going deeper and deeper, and they ask for things, and you're like, I didn't know they needed that. I didn't know they wanted that. And in some capacity, it was way beyond just campaign content, right? They wanted to know about a number of things, and we were like, oh, we should maybe go figure out how we get that information out better to our partners. So it was like mind reading, and that was the coolest part about AI for me, not knowing what you don't know you're going to get from it.
All of you, do you think the partners are more willing to be transparent in what they're asking for when they're doing it through AI and just ask versus when you're having an actual conversation with them?
Personally, I think I've never had a problem with partners being transparent. When you sit in a partner advisory board and you're like, it's like, whoa, do you have to be that transparent with me right now? Love the partners being transparent, and I just think that this opens the door to them not, if they want to hold, it does depend on certain characteristics of people, personalities, even cultures. Some cultures will praise you, and then like behind the scenes are like, by the way, I'm really not happy with what you're doing over here, right? And so this really does kind of open the door for you to be able to learn without worrying about anybody thinking that I don't want to offend this company or whatever. But it's been eye-opening.
Joanna, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it removes the barriers of shame feeling when asking, right? So when we look at what partners are prompting, many times there are more basic questions of what we had expected, right? Which is you have to reinforce the basics. How do you make money? When do you get paid, right? Things that, all right, it's captured, but maybe we have to surface that way easier, right? Because those questions that you assume that are basics are many times what are really top of mind for most of the partners, right? And then the other aspect that has helped a lot, especially with partner programs are really helpful in going international, right? In growing before companies even have employees in those countries. So it has accelerated all our international strategy, especially as we grow across languages and we slice and make content available way more in more languages than we could have ever been dreaming, right? Without the use of AI. So that co-marketing cycle has accelerated a lot.
I was going to say, I think for us, we've always had the feedback, but where we're seeing more is like one-to-one collaboration now.
Yep.
So I think that one-to-one collaboration, because we're doing so much more ideation with them, is like we're getting instant feedback now with what they're doing and sort of saying, hey, here's some gaps, here's where I need some help, here's a vertical. So I think AI is kind of opened up rather than having these sort of large macro conversations to getting really down into the business of the partner.
Okay, we got to start wrapping it up here. But maybe real quickly, we can go across all four of you. What is the one thing you wish someone had told you or you knew about AI before you would go in? So if someone out there is just starting to roll this into their partner programs, what's your words of wisdom to them?
I'll go because the bar's low over here. I'll just kick us off. I really wish, personally, as a leader, I think so many times when new things are upon us, we feel like we have to have the answer. Once I realized that I have rock stars in random roles that just innately get this and they're hungry for it, it shifted for me. And I now allow them to contribute, to brainstorm, to incubate, I have a junior team member in Poland and he's just running interviews with various platforms to learn about them. He's literally the barrier to having like almost an RFP with us, because he's just responding to LinkedIn posts, he's Googling things, and he's having so much fun. And then I connected him to my customer satisfaction and quality person to understand pain points in the journey. And I'm like, find a problem, find a solution, let's talk about it, and let's spend a little money here and there and play. I wish I would have gotten out of the way. I wish I would have created a culture of like ground up contribution, because to your point, that if we can enable or be the people that expand and grow and tinker and embrace AI, the AI is not going to replace us. It's those people that have an appetite for it. So I regret not moving faster and allowing those that naturally get it, want to do it, are hungry for it. I should have gotten out of their way earlier and not let it be about roles, responsibilities, or titles. This is a passion-oriented momentum that you just got to let your team members and or your partners like rock out, because you'll see it if you just get out of the way. So that is one of my things I wish I would have told my earlier self.
For me, paying attention right now, one advice that I would share is pay attention to roadmaps. I think we were talking about last week. Never roadmaps had been so important, right? And the reason why is because the future of next year looks so different from the reality of this year, right? With Asians going mainstream, so co-create with the people that you trust. The vendors don't go solo. You can involve a lot of people that have more brain than you. Create with them and look at what they are thinking of the future so that you can influence and impact and co-create that future with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just echo what they say. I mean, build that culture of collaboration. There's going to be ideas everywhere. We have a hackathon culture in our company, so we like to to get the insight from anyone and kind of try to drive ideation and capture all those insights. And I think roadmap's important. You have to prioritize. There's a lot of options out there, but sort of look at where you want to go and roadmap against that.
Okay. Diane?
I guess I would just say, I agree with all of that. I would say I wish I knew sooner. I wish I had acted sooner. I would say working with a large company, right, there's a ton of committees right? You've got your legal, your compliance, your, AI steering. You've got like 20 committees that you've got to work with, right? So engaging with all of your stakeholders early and getting your teams trained and, working off of what Udi had talked about with being bold and being different. For sure, make it a place to fail safely, and getting your teams engaged in all of that AI training. I know a great book that's out there next to Udi's book around Your First 30 Days in AI, written by Catherine Rose, and that is awesome, as well as their channel marketing training certification. Getting ahead of it is the one thing that I would encourage, because the train's already left the station.
Okay, I think we're done.
Okay,
Teleprompter is saying it.
thank you.